once again, to Her Highness, I've elevated her actually because she's been that busy. You've been busy in India, Madame, I understand, and,
Uh-huh.
on Mike Graham's show.
Yeah, Mike Graham show. Who used to be, for the visitors, the listeners that don't know, Mike Graham is he was thrown out of Talk TV, which was a huge mistake from Talk TV, because with him he took about 150,000 people that were
Yes.
following him. He is very outspoken. He's quite funny. I just hope he gets away with it because so I was supposed to be on with him for 10 minutes this morning and I was on for half an hour. And then through him, I'm sure it's through him, because goes out live. He does edit some shows afterwards, but I think that it goes out live and then maybe does some edits and he does some clips of what he did.
Mm.
But I think that's how I got the Indian thing. I've been on India News, the Top Republic is called. So it's
That's got a
the top
massive
news.
audience actually
It's
worldwide.
massive. It's 428 million.
Mm.
It's ridiculous. Not
Well,
that
there's
that
a
many
lot
in the
of them,
world.
you know.
I mean, there's a lot of them, but I mean, he said apparently in India about 1 in 3 watch that news program, so it's good. And at the moment, they're very hot on the Epstein stuff and Andrew and Starmer and all of that. So I send them the sort of news, and then they sort of like anybody else say, "Oh yeah, can you come on?" So
There's a
it's good.
kinship actually between India and UK,
Mm.
whereas there isn't from many other countries in that region.
I like the Indians. I don't have a problem with the Indians. It's the Pakistanis I have a problem with, and I don't understand why they are so different. I mean, the Indians, all the Indians I meet are very spiritual, they're very gentle, they're nice people. Mostly, I mean, they're obviously going to have the bad ones like we've got here with our lot. But I just, I find it the moment I know somebody is Pakistani, I immediately like back off because I don't trust them. And not just with what they're doing with the gangs, but I just don't trust them anyway. I think they're sharp in business. I think I don't know, there's just something very strange about their culture and
Their
the
culture
Muslim.
is very different.
It's hugely different.
There are some good Muslim Pakistanis.
Uh,
I've met them, but there are a lot, and it's not just 1% and 2% that are after, and we keep saying this, and people are not warned, a caliphate. We've just
oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And there was something on the news this morning, and I actually pushed your contact, Gavin Ashenden this morning with Mike Graham, and because somebody had come out and said, I saw it on Twitter about or it might have been on the news actually, about how we are like we're becoming a Muslim country, and I raised that, and I said, you really do need to get, and I'm giving your interview a push again, which I did. I said, you need to get Gavin Ashenden on again. I said, because Air TV International, I said they had him on, and it's frightening. And given that he is a Christian, he said it absolutely calmly and candidly, what was what. And anybody else watching this, please go and have a look at the opinion. It's on your opinion site, isn't it? On your platform.
That's right. It's on our opinion channel. We've got
Very
12.
revealing,
Yeah.
very revealing. And I also mentioned on Mike Graham as well about, Enoch Powell. His name's coming up again a lot lately. And I said he was not racist. It was taken completely out of context, the rivers of blood. And you have to read the whole thing. It was prophetic, it was visionary, and it's all come true.
Yeah, and actually, let's bring this up to date and think of Zia Youssef of Reform. And he was not holding back with his language.
No.
And he came out and said, look, in the last 8 years, there's been 200,000 illegal immigrants coming across by boat. It's an invasion.
It is an invasion. And who was it that got sacked for that? Was it Priti Patel or was it Suella Braverman? One of them, when they were Home Secretary,
Got
called
into
it an
trouble,
invasion,
yeah, for that.
and they were got rid of. And it is. You can't say it's not.
No, the vast majority are coming over, and we believe it's being fed by Islam.
Oh, for sure.
They are truly making this an invasion
For
because
sure,
they
for
want
sure.
a caliphate for the UK.
When did you last see a woman and a child on those boats? You don't.
No, we've been sent a very, very well produced and professional cartoon about what the ladies principally have to fear under a Muslim controlled nation and what they're going through in many other nations. Now, we've got to look at this very carefully. Obviously, we don't want people like Ofcom on our backs, but by the same token, we want the truth getting out there. And maybe we'll have an opportunity of putting it in the programme, some next programme maybe, when we've cleared various things about that. It is frightening.
It is frightening. I mean,
Not
I
just for the
was.
ladies, for everybody.
It is frightening. But I think, uh, so you're based in Spain. Are you subject to Ofcom?
No, well, that is not strictly true. They find ways of getting in here. Just along the coast from here, there was a Christian station, a God station, if you like, just giving news information and programs out to people mainly that are in the church. And they've been fined £10,000
No.
by Ofcom, as I understand it. Now, maybe it's because they're on Sky, and Sky generally comes within the orbit of Ofcom. Maybe that's how they've got it.
But 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 because they were talking about Christianity.
Well, no, obviously it's spread over. Perhaps I don't know the particular case. It could have been LGBT. They're very active in complaining. It could have been Muslim Council of Great Britain.
Yes, 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 yes,
Because
yeah.
most of the programs are watched in Great Britain from
I
that
what
channel.
I said today also was, and I feel very strongly about this, where is the useless new Archbishop of Canterbury? Why isn't she coming out when we see Christian people on the streets or whatever, singing a hymn or doing whatever? Why isn't she getting out there and saying, this is a Christian country? Why isn't she coming? Where is she? Where do you ever see her? What does she do? She seems to be even worse than Welby. I mean, she's never there. Where's the Catholic leaders? Where are the Methodist people? Where's anyone that is, the Christian leaders? They are nowhere. They are silenced. Either they are silenced or they're just too woke and too weak to stand up.
Right, I've got partially an answer. I was going to mention this towards the end of the program, but I'll push it up the menu. And it's RE in schools. Now, this has been the Cinderella subject for decades in schools. When we were going through teacher training college, inverted commas, no, it was still body, soul, and spirit, body, mind, and spirit. And RE was seen to be the spirit.
Yeah.
And therefore important to the whole child and to the whole education.
100%.
But since that time, it's gone down and down and down, and now it hardly exists or doesn't exist in various schools. And if you want to know where the church is, the same thing has happened to them. They decide that they want to go into modern times, whereby we've got to change our Christian culture into diversity, equality, etc., etc. And we've got to bring along other faiths, which largely confuses the children.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. They're only little. They're only little. I mean, I can remember when I was teaching, you would have it wasn't sort of you absolutely it was a Christian school that I taught in, and it was just sort of like awareness of like Hinduism and Buddhism and stuff like that, but it wasn't like rammed down their throat. Like today, we're going to say we're going to like go, whatever they say in I don't know, Abdullah. I don't know what they say, but do you know what I don't know if you saw it, which I mean, these little children who are saying, "I am not going to say something to Allah, and I'm not doing it. I go to church," and they're 8, 9 years old. Do you know that? I don't know if you saw it. There's a little boy on Ash Wednesday. He came to school with the ash on his forehead, yeah, like you do, and he was told to wash it off because it was offensive to others in the class, and we all know who others are.
Yeah, exactly.
And he refused to do it, and I don't blame him.
No.
Good for them.
If
It's
you
good to see these
are,
little ones with an
yeah,
opinion.
if you ever wonder why we're in such a bad
Oh,
state in this country, maybe this is one of, or even the main cause of it. What standards have our children got? Now, we used to have standards because we used to have lots of Bible stories that were good examples of how to behave.
that's right.
Now it's do what you want, make a choice. And look where the choices have got us. And okay, it's all part of child number one in education that's crept up on us. It started off in our scholastic days. The children rule whatever they want to do, whether they want to be a rabbit or a double-decker bus, depending on which day
Don't get me started.
they get the choice. So we've got a society without rules and without good moral examples.
Absolutely.
What about the gathering together as an assembly that we used to have every morning? Now it's really on the back burner.
It absolutely is. I mean, and I think in a small school, I mean, even a school with 200, 300 kids, you can still do an assembly. You cram them in a bit, but I mean, and even if I mean, they should do. I mean, I know the Catholic schools do it because when I've been into Catholic primaries, they do have a prayer time in the morning in class, and then they will have one if it's a larger school, and then they will do it at the start of the afternoon again after break. They'll have another, a quick prayer, but I don't see it much in the Church of England schools. I don't. It's like I might say something in the classroom, but the actual whole assembly, it's a very good discipline, I think, a very good
It
discipline.
is. And forget the 1944 Education Act, which got it right and is still enacted in actual fact, but it's treated like irrelevant. And if you want to know that is the problem with the main churches, particularly the Anglican Church, which is the Church of England. And there's no example. They have chosen not to believe in the Bible, in the Bible stories, in the prayer book, which has held the church together for donkey centuries.
Yeah.
They've decided to make it inclusive because that's the modern way of dealing with things. Well, frankly, if you don't believe anymore what the Bible teaches, what are you doing in a Christian position anyway? Can
Well,
that be
exactly.
levelled against the Archbishop of Canterbury?
Well, if she's anything like Welby, he said to me that he wasn't, he was like I didn't know. I was brought up a Catholic, right? Which he knew. And he said, well, I'm not like the Pope. I don't have like the whole control over the Catholic Church. I don't have that with the Church of England. I'm accountable for 80 million Anglicans around the world. Yeah, and it doesn't mean you don't have influence. Oh, well, I can't tell the different the different that like what do you call in dioceses. I have got no control over that. No, because the bishops do. That's absolutely right. But I said you still have influence. You are still in charge. You should be able to say this is something that I expect my bishops to do. You can't just give them carte blanche and be like a maverick. You should be watching what all the bishops are doing. I mean, I just despaired. He was so weak, but this one's even worse. She's awful. I think she's worse than Welby so
Well,
far because you haven't seen her do anything.
don't forget the cultural Marxists, LGBT plus, have targeted the church, the Christians. We are the enemy. Of course we are, because the Bible clearly states its position on those two things and many other things, dare I say, including feminism. That's nothing to do with women's rights, feminism. It's been a tragedy for society, and it's still a tragedy. People don't realize what's going on.
No,
And the values that we have been brought up with and inculcated for our generation are still valid.
100%. I am not sorry I'm the age I am. I'm really not. What I'm sorry and saddened about is, and I was with some friends yesterday that said the same thing. What I'm sorry and saddened about is for my grandchildren. I worry where they are going to be and what's life going to be like when they are like 20 years old. I mean, they're only little right now. What they're going to be like? What's it going to be like here? You can't, my fear is another 3 years of this idiot who, this Marxist that's in charge of the country. They are we ever going to be able to get it back and rejig it? I don't know. I don't know. I hope so. But I did say this morning when I was on Mike Graham that Gavin Ashenden was absolutely right when he said, if you don't stand up for what your country is, you won't have a country to stand up for. And it's true.
Let me again come out of our menu, our order, and go to Sarah Pochin and Danny Kruger, Reform. They have come out and said they fear for our country unless, well, you think, oh, they're going to say this, Reform gets in. But I think it goes beyond that, because I don't think, frankly, I don't think they've got everything right, Reform, at all. I can see some holes in the stuff that they're putting out from time to time, but nobody gets it all right. But when I look at the other choices, wow, they're not going to stand up for Christian values.
Yeah.
Danny Kruger certainly is a Christian.
Yeah.
And he made that very famous speech to an empty House of Commons, which absolutely got it right. Then he jumped ship to Reform. Let's hope he carries on the good work there. But Sarah Poaching knows what it's like to be in a position of political power. She is frightened to death. This can't go on. But if it's not Reform, who else do you give the torch to? Do you give it to the potty Greens, who may well come in second?
But with the number of woke people around now, you do think, would they get in? I mean, there's no way. When I was finishing with Mike Graham today, they had a list come down, you see. It was funny. People were writing in saying, oh, I'd like to take her out to lunch. Me? And I said, oh, I'm up for that. Don't worry. I'll give you my phone number.
Yeah.
So he then put up a list and said, who would I like to go out to lunch with? Right. And it was like, there was Starmer, there was Farage, there was the Green guy, the Greens, and there was a list. I said, that's actually none of them. I'd rather go out with my dog and take my dog down the pub.
Yes, my goodness me. I know what you mean. Well, look, we've got to ourselves go to a completely different angle here, and it's not a nice angle, but something that, again, we've got to take on board immediately. And that's the way we are let down by, can be the NHS. In this case, it was. It could the police, our institutions. They are letting people down the whole time. And I'm thinking of the gentleman Valdo, paranoid schizophrenic.
Oh.
And he should have been sectioned day one. Oh no, we've not got overwhelming confirmation of this diagnosis. What's behind it, of course, and now the people admit this, that have been dealing with this young chap after killing 3 innocent people.
That was dreadful.
Wickedness. And they are saying, yes, it was because this man was basically, again, it's this blooming diversity, etc. They didn't like the fact that he was black, and they could be seen to be saying, "Oh, it's a black person. We don't want you painted the same colour as all the others." Now, that means that if you're black, if you're in an ethnic minority, if you're in LGBT, you are getting a distinct advantage.
Well, it is disgusting. I mean, those poor parents. I mean, that, and there were the two lovely young students, weren't there? And then there was another
Yes,
gentleman that tried to come and help, and
yes.
his family. I mean, they should sue whoever made that decision that because he was black, he wasn't going to be sectioned. Whoever made that decision, A, needs to be kicked up the backside and lose their job, but B, they are complicit with the deaths that he caused. Who made that decision? Who in the NHS
Well,
made that decision?
exactly that. But as you know, dealing with the NHS, and we are ourselves at the moment, the chances of any success are remote. They come against you with multi-million pound
Yeah,
lawyers.
I mean, if I was the parents, I would have to throw the book at the NHS. I would get a lawyer tracking down what was the procedure. I'd want all the paperwork on the case, on his history, and because they probably won't allow that because, of course, that would be against his data protection, wouldn't it? But who made that decision?
Yeah.
Are they going to get disciplined? Are they going to, be pushed out because they should be? And are they going to stand up in court and have to be accountable for the decision? Who made the decision?
Yeah, and then if they don't, and they probably won't, then it's going to happen again, isn't it?
Of course it will. Of course it will. I mean, it didn't surprise me when I heard it on the news. It didn't surprise me at all. And I mean, it's just awful. It just gets worse. It really does get worse. The two-tier type policing is so obvious now. It really is. And you see it. I'm still battling away with my North Shields case. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. That is still going on. There are police that are definitely not doing their job properly up there. I've been on the phone to Maggie Oliver again this morning from the Maggie Oliver Foundation. I've been in touch with Charlie Peters again from GB News. I have managed, I'm creeping forward with it. The opposition councils up there have demanded an extraneous meeting with all the Labour councils outside of anything that would be otherwise diaried in immediately because of what's happening up there. That's going to be very interesting because I said I would be very, very happy to be on the Zoom call with them. I'd like to take part in that, please. And if it doesn't happen, because they did say if this meeting doesn't happen, we will be going to media. Correct. And so will I. And you have to shame them. And you shouldn't have to.
No.
You absolutely shouldn't have to. But you can make a test case for one. I'm not going to back off. I mean, this one taxi driver has been a stalwart of how someone in the public should say enough. And he's a young taxi driver, and he's just so disgusted with what he's seeing and the attitude of the police and the attitude of the MP, who's Mary Glindon, awful woman, who just has literally shut it down, doesn't want to know about the gangs, doesn't want to know Labour. There we go.
Right, we're in the northeast of England. We're going to go a little bit farther east and north into the sea, into the North Sea. So I'll just change the subject just a little while before we come back to it. We've got a situation that if you look at a map, there is a practically straight line in the sea between Norway and Great Britain.
Yeah.
And it represents the dividing line between all the wealth and oil and gas that's, if you're looking at a map to the right-hand side, i.e. Norway. Norway has recently been designated the richest per capita country in the world, believe it or not. So, wow.
Really?
And it's all the wealth of oil and gas. And the lifestyle there is fabulous.
Wow.
I mean, well, you got to put with the dark nights, but apart from that, it's fabulous. And if you're a drinker, don't go to Norway, of course, it'll cost you 2 arms and 2 legs. And what is happening is that our companies, Shell, etc., I know it's Dutch, but still an English part of it, then we're paying 38% to these green idiots. Are you listening, Mr. Miliband? Tax of anything comes out of there, because we'd sooner buy Chinese windmills and Chinese solar panels. And they, of course, don't have to pay the 38% tax. And when you drill, it's not straight down. Pipes come underneath, and the Norwegians are being a bit cheeky. And maybe for 1 or 2 kilometers, they're straying into our waters. That's the way these oil rigs work. It's not just straight down, it spreads. Now, we, are not over bitching about that. But what we should be over bitching about that is we've got a pile of oil that has now been proved conclusively to be far cheaper than these stupid green rules that demand on us buying Russian oil or wherever, even though it's been proved the carbon footprint has doubled by the time they transport it to England. It is utter madness, and the Norwegians are making themselves even richer, and we're under the constraint of Ed Miliband and his daft communist
he's an absolute nutter. He really is. Yeah, it's just honestly, is there anybody with any spine in honestly, Lammy did something again the other day, didn't he? Liability Lammy. Oh yes, all about the thing about Mandelson. He was on about that. Question time's going to be: is Starmer around, or is he flying off somewhere because
Oh
of the
no,
hot seat?
Starmer is hiding. Is hiding, as we know, behind the king, who's allegedly in trouble. Is hiding behind Mandy, and of course the Epstein saga per se, and all those involved with it. He's loving what's happened.
Oh, I just think
Right
it's I laughed out loud when he said the other day, nobody is beyond the law. He should have added, except me.
Yes, indeed.
It is. I said this morning, the whole thing is becoming comedic if it wasn't so serious. And the Epstein thing, the tendrils that came out from that man across the globe is horrific. It's just the tip of the iceberg that's coming out.
If we go back for a second to our friend Miliband, it's always best to fight back, take the positive position, and he has done, because a lot of people are calling him out. And he says, I want 75 million to achieve net zero, more than you've already given me. Sorry, 75 billion he wants, more than you've already. What is the man on? He's just captivated by this, I don't know, ministerial position. He's got friends in high places,
Of
or
course.
should I say low places, that's keeping him there with this mad policy. And one has to say it's not only him. Starmer is just as guilty.
Yeah.
And as pro this net zero thing, it is an absolute nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Of
It is.
course.
It's total nonsense.
Yes. And of course, when he goes to Europe and tries to betray us again about Brexit, all his mates over there have got this net zero. It's not just the United Kingdom.
Oh, is it not?
No, but a lot of them will not get round to doing it. They, for the right reasons, maybe kick things into the long grass. They know it's just a fashion at the moment. Fashion at the moment, if you look at the facts that China and India are making
Exactly.
fantastic progress at our expense.
Yes.
We have to buy everything from China.
Mm.
We go over there cap in hand, like Starmer has done, because they supply us with everything. And yet we are responsible for even less than 1% of the carbon footprint.
Exactly.
In other words,
Exactly.
nothing.
It's not going to, as you say, it's going to contribute nothing positive at all. It's not, absolutely right. Drill, 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 really, isn't it? You make use of your own resources. I mean, that's it. I mean, when you look back, it really saddens me sometimes when I look back at some of the industries that we used to have going back, all the like the cotton industry, the wool, the designs of bridges, you go up to Lutterworth, and jet engines were made there. We are a very, or we were a very resourceful entrepreneurial nation, and we invented so much stuff. You go back to looking at the sort of the thing we did for the opening of the Olympics back when it was there. And they did all the stuff, didn't they, that was in industry, and they took all the old stuff, and it's all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't, I mean, the next final thing, the final nail in the coffin will be farming. And that deeply saddens me. It really does. I mean, I really hope they push and get what they want, the farmers, out of this, because it's just awful. I mean, it really is
You
awful what's happening to
mentioned
them.
the cotton industry there. Now that's been destroyed completely
Yeah.
by India
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
because they have, it's a competitive world. They've decided that they can produce things very cheaply, and they can because they're paying their workers next to nothing. Therefore, should we be putting sanctions a la Trump against India? Too late now, of course, for cotton, but should that have been done at the time?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But I mean, you've also got, like, you think of anything, the pottery industry, the steel industry. We used to make all the wool. We used to make amazing Axminster and Wilton carpets, all that sort of stuff. Wherever you look, we had a way of producing it and making it, and we were then Great Britain. We had a lot of opportunities, and we've just sold the family silver and given it all away. And
I tell you something that is very important allied to this, and that's the invention of AI,
yeah.
because that's going to affect, and we have touched on this once or twice, certain industries like you would not believe.
Mm.
We are preeminent in the world for accountancy, for legal matters, and for business compliance and advice. The world comes to us.
Yeah.
They don't need to now. AI is taking the preeminence that it will take. I mean, for many years, frankly, we've not used lawyers in our businesses for many, many things. Why? Because you can get a contract online
Yeah.
that previously would have cost you £400 or £500
Mm.
as a business,
Mm.
get it online. And that's going to be superheated by the AI thing. You've got your own in your pocket lawyer for many, many things. Yes, for the real specialist stuff, you will still need a lawyer. But if you multiply up that by the number of people that come to the United Kingdom for what is called invisible exports, we're going to find a real cold draft on our necks because of AI.
Mm.
Very few people have picked up on it. Believe you me, it's going to happen.
It was very interesting. When I drive around, I often listen to Five Live, and they had a guy on there who was an AI expert, and he was saying how year on year, going back like 5 years, how the percentage of its accuracy not that great, but in the last 5 years, how it has absolutely accelerated, and is like, yeah, you have to fact check still, but it was extraordinary how far and it had come in that time. And as he said, where's it going to be in 2 years from now? You can't, you can write policies and all sorts of things about, not using people's data, but of course, AI's it crawls over the internet, doesn't it, looking for images and it's doing all that stuff. And of course, people are stupid enough to put stuff out there so it can snatch it, grab it, and reinvent you. And it's my little granddaughter's 5, and they now in her infant school are teaching them about AI, how to fact check, and how that chatbot is not a human, and these students, I was doing this with the students at Oxford University the other day, and I was talking to them about AI, and I've done a whole document on it. And I said, you're going into primary schools, you absolutely need to make sure this is on the curriculum in a way that the children do realize that I think we'll always have to check it, but it's not, and it's not somewhere where you can go in and get mental health support. If anything, it's causing mental health problems. So, it's making the youngsters understand that it can do X, but it can't do Y. There are some things that still need human intervention.
Yeah.
And making that, or you're going to end up with a load of weirdos that fall in love with a chatbot. God.
We've got them now. It's already happening, believe
It
me.
is. It is. It is
Oh.
frightening.
For a moment of sanity, we'll go to London Transport. Sanity? Perhaps it's sanitary, I should be saying. You've got a poster there that's been withdrawn. It shows a black man assaulting a white woman. Goes on
Right,
all
yeah,
the
that's
time
what,
in the
that's what's
underground.
happening. Yes, that's what's happening.
Yes, and that is what is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that. Why? We've had a complaint. I repeat that. They've had one complaint. And because of one complaint, they've removed all the posters. I'll read the reason why. The regulator ruled it reinforced negative racial stereotypes. That, folks, is the world we're living in once Great Britain.
No, it's all about reality. That's the point. It's about reality.
But it isn't the point. The point is keeping these stupid cultural laws, and I'm referring to cultural Marxism here.
Yeah.
Killing our society.
Yeah. I mean, was it 85%, isn't it, or 84%, something like that, of sexual assault crimes are by migrants and Pakistanis and any other migrant you like. I mean, the
How
Afghans.
dare they try and make us not? Because it could happen. That statement you just made and several I've made could earn the ire of Ofcom.
Yes.
And therefore, what is the difference between living, as we keep saying, in the United Kingdom or various other countries in Europe than living in China? That is total control.
Which is communist. I mean, and this is the whole problem with which I said earlier today. I said, why if going back to Gavin Ashenden, if we don't stand up for protecting our country, then you're not going to have a country to protect. And if you don't protect it and do something, then you actually don't deserve to have a country to protect. And he's right. He's absolutely right. But the problem is when you want to do that, and I'm not saying be violent, you can do silent protests. I've been on a silent protest before now over Dolphin House Square and all what's going on there with the the paedophiles that were quite high up in society, chief constables and judges and everything, that were raping young boys and everything. I mean, that's a silent protest you can have. You can have a perfectly peaceful protest, but if you don't do it, then you will be just taken over. There's no point just sitting in the pub and whinging about it. You've got to actually do something about it.
Right, so we're going to calm down now and we're going to go to the man himself, Mr. Starmer. And there is Mr. Starmer. I'm sorry, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't even give him the accolade of Sir Keir.
I just call him
anybody else that's worked for the government and automatically gets a knighthood.
I just call him Starmer. I just call him Starmer. I don't call him Sir Starmer. I can't be asked. Oh, sorry.
Well, there are various others, sometimes footballers, they're christened Sir. And
I don't call him Sir. I wouldn't call it. I'm not calling him Sir. Refuse to call him Sir. He doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go to Sir Keir, Mr. Sir Keir Starmer. And he's agreed, going over to his pals in Europe, that up to 70 million
Oh, my
young people under the age of 33, designated age, can now come to Britain freely. Oh, that's more than our population.
I was just going to say, where are they going to all be staying? They're going to be
In
sleeping in the
four-star
parks.
hotels. Don't ask silly questions.
Oh,
Of course.
I mean,
Right.
it's
Now,
absolutely
it can't possibly happen.
crazy. Oh, you don't know with him. It could with him.
But I tell you what, an awful lot of them could come over.
Yeah. I mean, I've I've got no problem with people who want to come and be here and work here and contribute here and live an ethical life and take part. Fine, but this person that was on like being filmed. And it was on a channel that I was looking at the other day, and this guy was proudly saying there, "We are not here to take part. We are here to take over." And how frightening and true is that? Terrifying. And that's the sum of it. That's what it is. That's what they're here for.
Yes, absolutely. Right, again, to turn the noise down a little bit. I don't know whether this will do.
Don't know where you're going to go.
Yes, to the Chagos Islands, probably. They're nice and peaceful, aren't they? No, we won't mention that. There's something big developing with Gibraltar just down the road from us here. The same thing is evolving there. We'll just pause on that one and just go on to child abduction warning notices. Now, you will realise what that is because both of us are campaigning against child abuse, adult abuse, the rape of our young children by Pakistani, mainly, gentlemen, and nothing being done for decades. Because Mr. Starmer himself, who was in charge of all the prosecution service at that time, told the policeman, "Oh, this is a tricky situation. Therefore, if you suspect anybody of raping, etc., our young people, then issue them with a child, what is called a child abduction warning notice." Now, that covers a number of sins, but they use it to cover rape.
Exactly.
And rather than tackling the question, because it is not easy for the police when you're talking about rape and various crimes that are easily covered up by friends and neighbours, but it's there to be acted upon. But as long as you give them a warning. And what does a paedophile do with a warning notice like that? Yeah, where the sun don't shine springs to mind. And these tactics, which suit the police for kicking things into the long grass, in other words, Starmer has always had a priority of not making it a priority.
Yeah.
There's other things that we can be doing, like brainwashing the nation. Starmer is clueless, useless, always has been.
It's dangerous.
And dangerous. That's the last one of the three. Wake up, Britain. We can't say it any stronger than that. We've said it so many times on this program. Whether it's too late already, well, maybe is.
I mean, but it is true to say that no one, I've done this job 23 years, no government has ever tackled child abuse, child sexual abuse, whatever, domestic abuse, whatever it is. No government has tackled it. What's going on in the residential care homes, They're not, how they can call them care homes is absolutely beyond me. Where they throw them out at 16 and they're already sort of damaged, and how are they going to cope in some of the places they put these youngsters in? I mean, I don't know how anyone can be a social worker. I truly, I know they're needed, but there's some very, very good ones, but they're so overloaded. They're so overloaded, and it's just dreadful what goes on, and how they handle it. And even the police, I mean, when they're going in, and a child under 7 is incapable of fantasizing child abuse. They can't fantasize it because their brain hasn't developed that far, that questioning mind with the conscious brain, the subconscious brain, when we have those little arguments in our head going, oh, is it this? Well, no, I don't think so. Or maybe I should do this. No, maybe I won't. That sort of like critical thinking type thing doesn't come into their brains until they're 8 years old. So under 8, they are. So if somebody tells you you're stupid, it's your fault, they will believe it because they've only got the subconscious mind. So that under that age, it's extremely easy to groom. That's why they're so successful at it. That if a 4-year-old says someone's done this to me, they cannot fantasize about it. That is fact. And I hear too many police officers will go, oh, well, they're only 4 years old. They're only a child. Exactly. They are only 4 years old and they can't invent it. They can't make a false allegation because they're not programmed that way at that age. There's so much about the developing children's brain that should be in safeguarding training to understand the parameters of what they can understand or what they can't understand. But no one's ever bothered with it. No one's bothered investing in it. No, they just don't care. The lives of children in this country are just cheap. It's dreadful.
Yeah, we've run out of time as we always do, well before we should. But then again, we're not going to mention Chagos and Gibraltar, but we will in our next program. It's still developing.
Okay, keep an eye on that one.
Nobody can give you a teaser here. Deny that nobody really knows what's going on in Chagos. You can't get to the truth, which makes me suspicious.
They're good at that, aren't they?
Yes, aren't they just? And the same thing is happening with Gibraltar.
Oh,
And it's even worse. But we'll leave that one for this time and we'll finish up with Sainsbury's. Yes, I have an announcement to make to all shoplifters. Don't go into Sainsbury's because you'll be wasting your time. It's not only the liquor that's put behind bars and cigarettes that are put behind bars. Now they're putting chocolate behind bars. They're having to put plastic guard rails and guard boxes so you can't shoplift the chocolate. That's where we are, folks.
It's just dreadful, isn't it? But I mean, you see, and again, I'm not being funny, you rarely see a white person doing it. I've seen, white people in, I mean, in our local Aldi, because there's a huge secondary school just very short distance away, they literally have security guards on the door and they will only let so many children in at a set point. And the security guards are in Aldi are more evident during the school when the schools come out, right? But they are, you will always and have always maybe lost a packet of crisps or a chocolate bar. But you've seen people walking out with trolley loads. I mean, it's just dreadful. It's dreadful. But I mean, they've got, anything really, isn't it? Cheese, meat, anything. They just go in. How can you honestly walk in with a trolley and come out with it all full? And what are you going to do? Run down the road with a trolley? I mean, I mean. It's dreadful. Thou shalt not steal. One of the commandments. What has happened to morality?
Well, we don't have it anymore because it's been stopped at school age where it can be most influential.
But when you look at a lot of these people are, when you see it on videos, they are migrants.
Yes.
And excuse me, but they're living in hotels where they're being fed anyway.
A double whammy, as it's called. We've got to go. Lots to discuss very shortly and very important things as well. But that'll spoil the rest of your week. We will see you in good heart.
Wherever you listen to, you'd almost be, if you didn't cover these horrible subjects, if we didn't discuss it and debate it and get ranty, you'd almost be irresponsible because you'd become like BBC. You would be sanitizing what you want to say.
Yes,
So you
absolutely
can't do
right.
that. You can't do that. So otherwise, you just become like any BBC. Sky News has become like it. Never were. Now they are.
They do. They all participate in the blob.
They
It's
do.
so
They
easy
do.
and so
And
comfortable.
can't do that. You can't do that. So if they right, so there's no happy news at the moment. But the sun is shining here and it's sunning there in
Oh
Spain.
no, I'm getting bored already. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
this for months and months now.
Could you push that yellow blob in the sky over our way, please?
Yes, what I got. No, I
All
get.
right, folks. Well, do tune in to Dr. Gavin Ashenden. Have a look on the opinion site, the program, and
Indeed,
learn what we're up for if we don't contain it.
and hope and pray that we have the courage to put the cartoon out as aforementioned.
Please send it to me.
If you need anything that will convince you, that will do. It will conflict with the authorities that would bury everything and lead us into perdition. How
Please,
about
could you please send it to me on WhatsApp?
that? There are other ways, madam, of getting this to you. It shall be done. See you next week.
See you next week. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye-bye.